you guys? Happy Thursday or happy happy January 6th Spring Day. Is anyone watching that? I will not be watching that. I'll definitely keep my eye out for if anything interesting pops up, but I will not be watching. I refuse to give them ratings. I'll be watching Fox News to see what they cover. How's everybody doing today? My straw got stuck in there. I've already made plans to rearrange my sock drawer. I'll be watching Fox News as well. Thursday, we need a pitcher of beer. You're doing good. Good. Cool. We got a few people already. Yeah, so I'll be interested to see what Fox News airs. I don't plan on watching that. I might rearrange. I've been feeling insurrection-y. I've been feeling like I need to color code my closet. So maybe I'll just go ahead and do that. Or maybe I have this maybe I'll organize my paper clips. That sounds I have a collection of paper clips. That sounds way more interesting than watching any of the hearings. Or the production, the document. I should call it their documentary series. That's basically what it is. It's going to be a docu-series. First hearings in history that have been prime time. Thursday is my cleaning day. An unfortunate coincidence. Darn, I was really hoping to make that one. That stinks. Okay, we're going to talk about Tim Pool getting swatted today. Well, he got swatted last night. Somebody else did as well. So we'll get into all of that. Hi, TNN. TNN says, while I will be declining the mod role, I want to say thank you again and thanks for the nomination. SWAT time. Are you declining the mod role? You don't have to do anything. I can take you off. Yeah, so that was pretty wild. So we'll be talking about that. And then I have a bunch of clips to show you from Joe Biden being on Jimmy Kimmel last night. Oh my goodness. So we'll get into all of that. I have a few clips from it. I totally forgot that he was going to be on Jimmy Kimmel. And we'll get into that. First, let's talk about Tim Pool. All right. So last night, Tim Pool, this is, I believe, so I watched Tim's video earlier today discussing what happened last night. So last night, Timcast, they do a podcast every evening at 8 p.m. and they usually have a guest on. They were about an hour into the episode and they actually had to evacuate the entire building. So there was about 3 hours they kept the cameras rolling because they thought they were going to be out for about 10 minutes. They were outside for 3 hours while police officers had to sweep their entire place. And so there were 3 hours of just the chairs, of just the empty studio being streamed. And the fascinating thing was they were still at any given time of this 3 hours, they called it chair cast because it was literally just all of the chairs and the desk. During this 3 hours, at any given time, there were about 32 to 40,000 people watching. That's more than Brian Stelter. He must be really upset about this. People watched dead air on Timcast for 3 hours. Anyway, let's get into what happened. So Timcast IRL, during their podcast, they got swatted. So this was the ninth time that we know of. But Tim, I actually watched his episode earlier today. He said this was really about the 12th or 13th time that they have been swatted. So somebody anonymously calls the police department and will say that something really awful is going down at Tim's studios, which I believe is a big residential property. I don't think he lives there, but it's a huge house that they have in Maryland, in Western Maryland. And so what happens is the police have to come. They have to sweep the whole place. It can be very dangerous sometimes. It's actually a pretty dangerous situation because if the cops think that maybe someone is in the residence armed and getting ready to do really bad things, the police come armed. Really dangerous situation. But at this point, the police know Tim. They know his whole crew. They know what's going on. So it's kind of, they know each other a little bit better. But this situation was a lot more dangerous than previous situations because this was a really big threat. What I think happened is I think somebody said that there was a BOMB at Tim's place because this is the first time they actually had to evacuate during an actual show. And I always try to think, okay, why are they doing this? And the first guest that he had on that this happened, what they were trying to connect it to, the first time this happened to Tim, he had Marjorie Taylor Greene on the night before. So they thought maybe this was in some way connected to Marjorie Taylor Greene. So I looked up the guest that they had last night, and this was the guest that they had. His name was ew. Okay, so the guest that they had last night is a guy who is running for Congress out of a district in Virginia, and his name is Tommy Altman. And he actually has a pretty based platform. So these are his issues: government overreach, critical theory, Second Amendment, election security and voter integrity, border security, pro life, pro military, and pro police. So that's who he had on last night. And if you're interested in watching, they are going to have that same guest on tonight as well, since the episode got cut short. So what happened? They evacuated. They were gone. They were outside for 3 hours. And around midnight, they came back in just to say hello to the audience since it had been on the entire time. And then they chatted for a few minutes and had to end the show because at that point it was pretty late. So I will show you when they evacuated what actually happened. And for anyone that's new, I'm sorry that I have to put my phone up to the screen. I cannot use my StreamYard. I'm out in the country, and the StreamYard on the internet that's here at the house is really slow. It's really choppy. So I just have to make do while while I'm here for the rest of the time. I will be at this location, I believe, for another month or two at most. I basically came to hide out in the country for a while. I'm out here in Virginia. Okay, so here's what happened. All right, so this is when they got the notification and had to evacuate.
Pay more for every people be ill so that they buy their medicine. Like if the fire department was incentivized to put out fires and they got paid more for every fire they put out, we have to evacuate the building. You better believe that see a lot more fires. You guys, I love you. I think we're just going to keep the live stream going, but we have to evacuate the building. All right.
We'll be right
So
back.
from the stream will just stay up as it is.
Please stay tuned.
And just please keep watching in case something happens. But we have to evacuate.
Do you have the live room break? Go to tell me.
We're gonna grab something to drink. We're being told we need to evacuate the building. So keep watching, keep the stream up, and can you do the wide shot?
Yeah.
All right. Maybe you'll get to watch something happen. I don't know. We have to get out of the building.
Cool.
Let's go.
That's Taylor. You saying this? That's Taylor saying.
Let's go ahead. Who's Taylor?
Oh,
Tyler.
got it.
There we go. Woo. All right, bye guys. Be back.
People be ill.
So they ended up being gone for 3 hours. That was actually really smart of them to do the wide shot. But that wide shot, that was all you saw for 3 hours. At one point, you saw the police come in and do a little sweep in the room. And then 3 hours later, they came back and continued the show. And you can see here, if you look really closely, there's 43,000 people just watching that empty room. And it was like that for 3 hours. They're still getting super chats. But the story gets a little bit weirder as well. So the quartering, I don't know if you know who the quartering is. He has a little over, yeah, it's really crazy. So the quartering has over 1 million subscribers, and he does a lot of entertainment commentary. He also goes into the political field a little bit. I believe he's friends with Tim Pool. See, they still go super chats. You should live stream even her house. I'll bring her on. She'll say hello in just a second. So the quartering, he's a big YouTuber. A lot of entertainment stuff, but also dives a little bit into the political world as well. And while that blank stream was rolling, he was giving a bunch of super chats. So the quartering also made his own coffee company. And what he was doing during the live stream is actually promoting his coffee company. So he was donating like $100, $100, $100, and promoting all of his coffee. Well, let me tell you what happened to him. I have to go back, way back. Okay. Okay. So, because of this, we're pretty sure. So he's sending in all of these super chats, right? And you can see them on the screen. His house got swatted. He lives in a completely different state. I want to say he lives somewhere in the Midwest. His house got swatted last night as well. So this is what he said on Twitter. SWAT team just left my house. Someone texted with a high power firearm and was going to off myself. They deployed the SWAT team for an anonymous text. They all knew it was a SWAT too. Hilarious. 100% dead serious. You will be able to listen to the radio calls online, but no effing body cams. Total bummer. So someone must have seen all they're pretty sure this is all connected. Like someone must have seen all of those super chats. I believe he donated up to $1,000 to Timcast last night, and he was doing this because he was trying to promote his coffee brand. Someone says, "Did you at least give them nice offers and some free coffee?" Having gone out to your house, and he said, "No. Here is why. I supposedly offed my wife. The cops were sitting in my driveway when dispatch called me. My wife answered the phone. They should have stood down at that moment, not handcuff me and lay me in the wet grass and scare the crap out of my wife. We're 100% fine. Cops were cool after they realized I wasn't a killer, but they crossed a few lines in my opinion, especially continuing to cuff my wife who was supposed to be the victim of my offing. We had a good laugh, and I have updated their do not SWAT list. The bad news, no body cam, so my video on it will be weak. The good news, the entire internet won't see my hairy butt crack spread out on the lawn. I'd say it's a wash." He says, "I'm certain," someone said, "Okay, let me get this straight. You and Tim got swatted at the same time. Is that what I'm hearing? If that's the case, tell me it wasn't planned. I hope you and your family are well." And the quartering said, "I am certain that my swatting was due to the large amount of super chats I was sending him." Yes, of course it was the same people. I assume they were mad about all the super chats. It's okay. And then this was a video, or this was, I believe it was taken from the Quartering's ring camera outside of his house, but you can see all of the officers standing out there. And he said that's only a fraction of the response. How do the authorities not know who's making the bogus 911 calls? That's what I'm curious about. I don't know. And here's the thing, this has been happening, and it's relevant for a lot of different reasons. So this has been happening to Tim for a while now, ever since Marjorie Taylor Greene was on the show. And I don't know how they don't know who this individual is. Granted, Tim did say in the show, I have to be really careful what I say because they're investigating this and we have to keep it at a minimal for safety reasons, obviously. So there's a lot he can't say. That he did say they have some leads, but that was months ago, and I don't know how this is still happening. And also, it's curious too because why Tim Pool? Why his show? Because Tim, if you think, is sort of middle of the road compared to a lot of conservative or Republican commentators. And my guess is because what I believe is that Tim is actually a lot more dangerous. And the reason I think he's a lot more dangerous is because he is someone that just a regular Democrat might watch, and it might really open their eyes to a lot of things because he's very middle of the road. He has leftists on his show, he has more conservative people on his show. He's someone that could really wake a lot of people up because he is so middle of the road. That's why I also think they really dislike Russell Brand. I think that's also why they really dislike Joe Rogan because they are just regular people. And when I say regular people, I don't mean regular people. I mean that they are not so far right. They are people that someone that is a typical Democrat could listen to, and it could open their mind. It could open their eyes to a lot more things. So I think that's what makes them a lot more dangerous, in my opinion. And this is scary too because it's getting to this point. This has happened now 12 to 13 times to Tim. And Tim lives in Maryland. He doesn't live that far away. And I'm in no way trying to conflate the two or trying to make a connection, but it does make you think a little bit. And Tim doesn't live very far away from Justice Kavanaugh. And what recently just happened at Justice Kavanaugh's house? A guy showed up, had a bunch of kidnapping equipment, had some weapons, and said that he intended to off Justice Kavanaugh over the R versus W and the Second Amendment. So that's a little bit scary. And that didn't happen very far from where Tim Cass IRL is headquartered. So it makes you think a little bit. And what's even scarier too, let's get into Justice Kavanaugh for just a second because this is pretty worrisome. And when you connect it all together, all right, so we all know what happened to Justice Kavanaugh. Well, here's another update to that. There's actually two updates. So this came out, date please. Okay, this came out yesterday. Pro-choice activists marched in front of the home of Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh Wednesday evening, just hours after a man was charged with threatening to off him. In videos shared online, protesters, comprising members of an activist group, Ruth Sent Us, chanted slogans while banging drums and walking up and down the sidewalk. Keep your rosaries off my ovaries. Well, that's creative. Keep your rosaries off my ovaries. Okay. The protesters could be heard chanting in call and response fashion while police stood on guard in front of Kavanaugh's home. 26-year-old California man Nicholas John Rosk was arrested early Wednesday near Kavanaugh's house in Maryland after threatening to kill the justice. Police said he was carrying a gun, a knife, and zip ties. Later in the day, federal prosecutors charged Rosk with attempted offing of Supreme Court justice. During a court hearing, he consented to remain in federal custody for now. Rosk told police he was upset by a leaked draft opinion suggesting the Supreme Court is about to overrule R versus W, the landmark abortion case. He also said he was upset over the school massacre in Uvalde, Texas, and believed Kavanaugh would vote to loosen the Second Amendment, the affidavit said, or gun control laws. Throughout the day, the pro-choice activist group Ruth Sent Us posted a series of tweets trying to distance themselves from fundamentalists while also labeling Kavanaugh as a white supreme sandwich. In another post, the group said it offered its thoughts and prayers to Justice Kavanaugh and his wife, Ashley Kavanaugh. And yet another, the group shared a screenshot of a Catholic billboard with a piece of paper taped onto it reading, "Chasing Justice in Chevy Chase," featuring the faces of Justice Kavanaugh and John Roberts. A special message for Ashley Kavanaugh and your daughters. This billboard was put on your school grounds. We feel for you. The group tweeted, Leader McConnell and the GOP aren't worried about your safety. They only worry about the expensive Supreme Court they rigged and their power, #SCOTUS. In one tweet, the group suggested Rosk is a good guy with a weapon. Wow. Okay, so this group that is protesting in front of Justice Kavanaugh's house suggested that the person that is now in federal custody is a good guy. In one tweet, the group suggested Rosk is a good guy with a firearm because he failed to carry out his alleged plan to assassinate Justice Kavanaugh. Oh, okay. I see what they said. I misunderstood that. So the entire tweet is this from Ruth Sent Us. The solution is to arm SCOTUS justices, Leader McConnell, or bolt closed all their doors except one. Plus, it was just a good guy with a firearm. He called the police on himself. Okay, so they're suggesting he's a good guy because he called the police on himself. I'm sorry, I took that the wrong way. I thought it was more of a threat. There have been protests at the homes of Kavanaugh and other justices, as well as demonstrations at the court, where the security fence rings the building and nearby streets have been closed. A Homeland Security Department report said the draft opinion leaked early May has unleashed a wave of threats against officials and the increased likelihood of extreme violence. Okay, here's my problem with all of that. So it is actually illegal under federal law in an effort to protect judges from undue pressure or influence. It is illegal to picket or parade in front of a courthouse or justices' homes with the intent of interfering with, obstructing, or impeding the administration of justice, or with the intent of influencing any judge, which is exactly what this is. So why aren't these individuals being arrested? They could get arrested, have a slap on the wrist. They'll probably be released again, but at least the message would be sent very clear that this is not okay. It's illegal, and we are going to uphold the law, because the one sacred thing that we have in this country are the ability of our Supreme Court justices to be able to make decisions and not be influenced or intimidated by the public, because now you are making it okay to go to their houses and to picket. And yes, police were there. Yes, they were being monitored, but they are still being allowed to picket in front of their house. And their intention is to intimidate. Their intention is to be able to influence a decision. Nancy Pelosi needs to pass the bill to give protection to the justice's family. I agree with that, but I also agree they need to uphold the current law, and Merrick Garland is not doing anything. And it gets even worse. Joe Biden, so we're going to be talking about this in a second, I'll just put a pin in it for a minute. Joe Biden was on Jimmy Kimmel last night, and he said that Joe Biden said on Jimmy Kimmel that he predicted a mini revolution if R versus W is overturned. So he's already setting it up. And this is bad. This is all intimidation. I hope they release this soon so this could all be over with. But where does this go? How far does this go? Because right now, the people in charge are making it okay to go and picket in front of their houses. And you have the president of the United States predicting a mini revolution if this gets overturned, rather than saying, we might not agree with the outcome of this, but we have to do this in the right way, in the legal way, and we have to protect our Supreme Court justices, because the truth of the matter is, maybe this is a decision you don't like. Maybe in the future it is a decision that you do like, and it's the other side that are intimidating them. There's a bit of an update. So they raided the home of the person who is in custody right now. So federal agents raided the home of the man charged with the attempted offing of Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh. The agents broke through the front door of the 26-year-old Nicholas John Rosk's family home in Simi Valley, California, Wednesday evening, and seized boxes of evidence as a part of a federal search warrant. CBS Los Angeles reported Rosk was arrested outside Kavanaugh's home earlier in the day and allegedly told authorities that he intended to off Kavanaugh over Supreme Court's possible decision to overturn R versus W. Threats of violence and actual violence against the justices strike at the heart of our democracy, Attorney General Merrick Garland said following the arrest. Rosk arrived outside Kavanaugh's home carrying a backpack and a suitcase. Special Agent Ian Montijo wrote in the criminal complaint against the would-be assassin, Rosk saw 2 U.S. deputy marshals guarding the home and turned away to walk down the street before calling a Montgomery County, Maryland police hotline to say that he was thinking of offing himself. Wow. So this is clearly someone that is very mentally ill, in my opinion, with what we know so far. This is not someone who is mentally stable. Police took him into custody and began interviewing the man who allegedly admitted to planning Kavanaugh's offing. Rosk then told the detective that he was upset about the leak of a recent Supreme Court draft decision regarding the right to abortion, as well as the recent school shooting in Uvalde, Texas. Montijo wrote in the complaint, Rosk indicated that the justice that he intended to off would side with Second Amendment decisions that would loosen the gun control laws. Rosk stated that he began thinking about how to give his life a purpose and decided that he would off the Supreme Court justice after finding the justice's Montgomery County address on the internet. See, this is what happened earlier. They doxed the addresses of the Supreme Court justices. Rosk further indicated that he had purchased the Glock. Wait, hold on. I want to write something down. Rosk further indicated that he had purchased the Glock pistol and other items for the purpose of breaking into the justice's residence and offing the justice as well as himself. Jeez. Montijo noted that the search of Rosk's backpack and suitcase revealed a black tactical chest rig, a tactical knife, a Glock 17 with 2 magazines and ammunition, pepper spray, zip ties, a hammer, screwdriver, nail, punch, crowbar, pistol light, duct tape, hiking boots with padding on the outside of the soles, and other items. Ross was charged with attempts to kidnap or threatens to assault, kidnap, or off a United States judge, to wit, a current justice of the United States Supreme Court. If convicted, he faces up to 20 years in prison. You know what really, really, really stuck out to me reading that? He wanted to give his life a purpose and planned on offing the justice and then himself. You know, we talk about the Second Amendment a lot. We talk about guns a lot and what the issue is, but he just said it right here. I wanted to give my life purpose. What have we talked about for the past few weeks? Young people so many people do not have purpose. And they look at things like this, they get radicalized by politics. And they think something like this is going to give them their lives purpose, and then they off themselves, maybe hoping to be infamous in some way after they're gone for doing this last act. It's really, really, really sad, and it's really scary. We live in a time where, you know, for COVID, we were all locked in our homes. All we had was television, we had the internet, we had social media. And I think that even without COVID, I think that a lot of people live like that. I don't think people go outside. I don't think they have a community that they're involved in. People are not as religious as they used to do, and they have no purpose. So they look online, they get radicalized by politics and social justice, and that gives them this meaning of purpose. And they start to intertwine that with their identity. Yeah, and he got the address of Brett Kavanaugh on the internet. And remember, their addresses were doxxed. And what's also really scary is that this was never condemned by our administration. Jen Psaki, when she was asked about this in the press briefing room, she never condemned the fact that the addresses were doxxed. All she did was condemn the possible overturning. She condemned the actual document, but she never condemned the fact that this was leaked. She never condemned the fact that these addresses were doxxed. Glenn says the law that Pelosi is blocking would not have allowed the addresses online. You know what? Let me look her up really quick. Her name, Nancy Pelosi's name, was actually trending today, and I wonder if that's why. Let's look up Nancy. Hold on, let's see. Let's see. Pelosi. That's not that's not why Nancy Pelosi's name is trending. Nancy Nancy Pelosi's name is trending. It's not funny. Nancy Pelosi's name is trending because her husband Paul Pelosi's DUI charges have been dropped. And why her name is trending. All right, so Kevin McCarthy. Here we go. He's talking about that exact thing. Let's sorry. Her name was trending on Twitter. So I clicked on Nancy Pelosi's name to see why it was trending. I was assuming it was because she's blocking this bill that talks about the justices addresses, and the very first thing that came up was that was the DUI. But now I'm getting to the now I'm getting to now I'm getting to the real reason her name is trending.
Yesterday,
All right, this is Kevin McCarthy on the floor.
senators, I once again come to the floor to try to protect our Supreme Court. Just yesterday,
What? Spam? Sorry, I had a spam call.
a man who wanted to kill Justice Kavanaugh was arrested outside the justice's home. He was arrested with weapons on his person. Justice Kavanaugh has a wife and children. Yes, he does. The Senate already passed a bill with agreement from 100 senators to enhance the security protection for members of the court and their families. And Madam Speaker, it has sat here for a month. A month. Yet yesterday, House Democrats are leaving. Today, they want to leave for a long weekend. They gave tomorrow back. I spoke to the majority leader this morning. I told him nobody on this side would object. A unanimous consent. He could run that bill on the floor right now and send it to the president so we could protect the Supreme Court. How many times do they have to be threatened? How many people have to be arrested with a gun outside their home? What would have happened had he not called 9/11? He didn't just have a gun, he had zip ties. But somehow you want to leave. This bill could be on the president's desk right now. Now think about this. This is coming from the same party whose White House press secretary said this, and I quote, encouraged protests outside the justices' homes. She even said that was the President Biden's position. And let's not forget what Majority Leader Schumer screaming on the steps of the Supreme Court. What did he say? Madam Speaker, I want you to listen to these words. And I want you to think about these words. What do you think the American public would think Schumer was telling them to do? He said, you will pay the price. You won't know what hit you if you go forward with these awful decisions. Now, I don't know if that young man yesterday with that gun and zip ties that was at the home of Justice Kavanaugh, if he listened to this, and that's why he went, I don't know. But I do know that is wrong. I do know we can change that. I do know we can protect them. That bill has been sitting here for 1 month. I talked to the majority leader today. The only idea people have, well, let's change it. What does it mean if it's changed? It means it goes back to the Senate and waits longer. Why? Why would we do that? Every single senator voted for it. And I promise you this, every single Republican on this side would give unanimous consent to pass that, send it to the president, and protect the Supreme Court. Enough is enough. I know the Democrats want to defund the police. I know what they want to do across this country, but this is wrong. This is pure politics, and it's got to stop. With that, Madam Speaker, I ask unanimous consent to take from the Speaker's table S-4160, the Supreme Court's Police Parity Act, and ask for its immediate consideration in the House.
Well, all right. When was that? Okay, so that was posted about 22 minutes ago. So we'll see. Speaking of the Paul Pelosi, though, Donald Trump Jr. said, serious question. Did anyone really believe that Paul Pelosi would face any consequences for his DUI crash? Anyone who's been paying attention knows that the rules don't apply to Dems. They just want you to abide by what they say, not what they do. Recurring theme. Well, I think we know why, the reason that's not happening. Any word from Depp versus Heard? Actually, here we'll take a little intermission, and then I'll get to Joe Biden on Jimmy Kimmel last night. Let's do an intermission. Depp versus Heard. His lawyers were on TV recently. This is actually really sweet. This is one of Johnny Depp's lawyers.
It was. You hear the verdict. You hear the verdict. A win on each one of Johnny Depp's claims. What was your reaction? It was emotional. I mean, we were so thrilled for him. That was great. And it was a great moment.
Yes,
Hear
he
the
gets
verdict.
emotional. Here's a clip of his lawyer. So after the verdict, Amber Heard's team, or one of Amber Heard's lawyers, I will guard Kavanaugh's house for 10 tacos per shift. That's a good deal. I would guard his house too for 10 tacos, although I don't think I would be a very good guard. Oh, where's that other clip? So Amber Heard's attorney went on this little media tour, literally like the day after the verdict, and was basically like bashing the jury and the media, and said the reason we lost, it was because the jury was compromised. It was because it was televised. It was because Johnny Depp has so many fans. It was so crazy. Well, this is Johnny Depp's team.
I think just to speak to your client right after the verdict, what was his reaction in the moment? I think just an overwhelming sense of relief. I was speaking with another friend of ours, a mutual friend of Johnny's and ours, and he said, I haven't seen Johnny smile like that in 6 years.
The weight of the world is off of his shoulders. He's got his life back.
As you well know, the law does not favor a plaintiff like Johnny Depp in a defamation case like this. The burden is very high, the threshold is high, and he crossed it. Frankly speaking, were you stunned at this victory, Ben?
Well, we had ultimate confidence in Johnny and the jury and the facts of this case. And you can only hope that the jury will see it. And in this case, they did. And the verdict was overwhelmingly in his favor.
Just speak to your client right after.
Thought that was cool. Oh wait, here's
Announcement of the verdict.
the full clip. I think this is so
announcement
sweet.
of the verdict comes
down? Was there just a mad dash in your camp? Wait, what's happening?
We were so tense that one of my colleagues brought a Monopoly game. So we played Monopoly in our little breakout room, and I saw a side of some of my young colleagues that I'd never seen before: ruthlessness, an unwillingness to sell their old mentor some property. But the second we heard that the jury was coming in, of course, we folded up the game. And then it was just, our hearts were in our mouths, especially when the judge called us forward and told us that the jury had reached a verdict on liability as to one of the statements, but had not filled in the damages award. We had no idea whether that was one of the counterclaim statements that Ms. Heard had alleged, or one of our statements. So, and she, as always, Chief Judge Escarati, played it down the middle. We had no idea. So we had a torturous several minutes while we were waiting for the jury to do that.
And then you hear the verdict, a win on each one of Johnny Depp's claims. What was your reaction?
It was emotional. I mean, we were so thrilled for him. That was great. And it was a great moment.
That's so sweet. I always cry when I see other people crying.
For you, and you saw the increase in attention from the case as a
Okay, I'll just do one more clip and then I'll get to Joe Biden. You shouldn't ask me that question. It's your fault. Seen something about an offer for a huge role. I think he's going to be, they're doing a Beetlejuice 2. And I think he's on the IMDb for Beetlejuice 2, which I am very excited to see Beetlejuice 2. Amber is a part of the Me Turd movement. Okay, here's one last little clip of his lawyers. Here we go.
So now we were talking about how this experience has been like for you, and you saw the increase in attention from the case as it progressed. What did you make of that?
It was a surprise. We knew when the court made the decision to have cameras in the courtroom that it would engender a lot of interest, but it just, as you said, it seemed to build more and more. And we had to keep focused, obviously, on our mission and trying to win the case.
I'm sure you've seen Elaine Brederhoff's comments after the verdict saying that the jury was tainted by the publicity, that there was suppressed evidence. What's your reaction to that?
I was really disappointed to hear that, because she's a very good lawyer, very experienced, and it seemed to cast aspersions on the jurors' integrity, because, as you know, they took an oath not to watch social media, and there's no reason to believe that they didn't. So to hear such a baseless claim was disappointing.
And what about the idea of suppressed evidence?
That was absurd. I mean, as you know, there are rules of evidence, and both sides had evidence that was excluded for proper evidentiary reasons.
And I'm sure you've also seen that before you came on to do some interviews today, Amber Heard's representative came forward and said this was unprofessional, it's a victory lap. I'll give you an opportunity to respond to that.
Yeah, again, I mean, this is kind of a case of a pot calling a kettle black, because Ms. Brederhoff went on some of the morning shows the day after the verdict to put her spin on it. So if she has a problem with that, then she should look in the mirror.
Ooh, all right. Wait, can you guys see me okay? It's saying my connection is unstable. Okay, I think I'm good now. All right, I'm good. Okay, let's talk about Joe Biden on let's talk about Joe Biden on Jimmy Kimmel last night. Ben Chu and Camila are great. Yeah, I think you can tell a lot just by their character and their aura. They just seem like really good people, obviously really talented lawyers. And the other side just seemed a little slimy. Your calendar says it's gym time. My calendar has said that for the past 2 years. I used to go to the gym every day at noon in California. So noon is 3 p.m. here. And I haven't been to the gym in years. I like to go hiking and be outside and do stuff like that. And then I do yoga at home. So I actually have not even been to the gym in 3 years, but I still get that notification. every day. I should probably turn it off. That might be a good idea. Okay, so Joe Biden was on Jimmy Kimmel last night, and it was really interesting. On his way there, so Jimmy Kimmel's studio is in Hollywood, California. So that means Joe Biden's motorcade was going through Los Angeles. Well, while the motorcade was going through Los Angeles, let me see if I can find the video for you. A protester actually got tackled by Secret Security. Secret Service. Secret Security. Oh, I can't find the video. You can probably find it online if you want to see it. It's actually not that incredible. Oh, here it is. So this lady, guys, don't mess with the motorcade. Note to self. This lady, I don't know what she was doing or what she was protesting or if she was protesting. She walked in the middle of the street so close to the motorcade that people were yelling at her to move away, that she was going to get hit by a car. And then she got tackled by Secret Service. Yeah, she was a little spicy. You see her in the middle of the street? So, yeah, they got her. I don't know what I can show on YouTube, but they basically got her to the ground. I don't know what she was doing or who she was with or what her intentions are. Yes, she walked in the middle of traffic, not just any traffic, the president's motorcade. That is so dumb. Like, Sarah, is there a clip of Biden tripping going into Air Force One? Wait, probably. Did that happen yesterday as well? Someone yelled to the cop, "You don't touch her." I'm sorry, you guys. Like, they had every reason to do what they did. That is, I don't care whether you like him or not. That is the president. You don't mess with that. And I believe some of those Secret Service officers were dressed in regular clothes and also regular police officer clothes. Everybody knows this. You do not go near the motorcade. You don't do it. Yeah, they're going to tackle you. They're going to think the worst. And this is how, like, just soft. I mean, and listening to the people too, like you guys were saying, don't touch her. You're being mean. Blah, blah, blah. Like, guys, that is the president. Like, you don't know who this woman is. You don't know what she has on her, what her intentions are. And this is how soft and entitled we are as a society. You don't do that. They're going to tackle you to the ground. They're going to assume the absolute worst. And I don't blame them one bit. I don't particularly like Mr. Biden, Joe Biden, but he's the president. And you don't do that. And we are just so soft and so entitled. People are, I'm sorry, but people are so dumb. Absolutely. And, you have to understand, like, anywhere that the president goes, like, he has protected airspace. He has protected, like, the Secret Service. That whole engine is way better than what we even see. They go ahead of time, they sweep everything, they have people everywhere. Like, you don't get near it. Someone said the cop was actually doing her a favor by keeping her away from Biden. Yeah, he's the president. Sorry, guys. The Secret Service are more than ready to drop someone who gets close to the president, as they exactly as they should be, whether you like the president in office or not. That's just how it is. That's how it always has been. It's how it always should be. Hashtag me turd. All right, now let's talk about his appearance. Wait. I forgot to. Did he trip going into? Was this yesterday as well? Did I miss this? Did he trip going into Air Force One? I'm searching Joe Biden trips. I don't see anything from yesterday, though. I mean, just the original. Oh, wait. Oh, oh, yeah. He tripped yesterday.
Police officers, it appears as though
It's so sad.
localities should be spending the money that he has allocated to invest in police departments and training of police officers.
It actually, at this point, to be honest with you guys, it really makes me sad. Okay, let me show you this clip from Jimmy Kimmel last night. How did I miss the trip? I'm usually like on it. I'm disappointed in myself. I'm ashamed. Okay, let's watch this first clip from Joe Biden's appearance on Jimmy Kimmel last night, and then we'll discuss.
Well, see, that's kind of perfect. No
so,
question
So there's
about
a
it.
lot of major things we've done. But what we haven't done is we haven't been able to communicate it in a way that is, let me say another way.
Well, see, that's kind of perfect. Yeah,
Well,
we haven't been able to communicate
But
it.
look how the press has changed.
Mhm.
Look how the press has
It
changed.
has changed. Oh, listen, I get it.
I know you overstand it.
Yep.
You don't just understand it, you overstand it. But here's the deal. One of the things is that it's very difficult now to have even with notable exceptions, even the really good reporters, they have to get the number of clicks on the nightly news.
Mhm.
So instead of asking a question, anyway, it just everything gets sensationalized in ways that. But I'm convinced we can get through this. We have to get through it.
No question
So there's
about
a
it.
lot of major things we've done, but
So if you can almost kind of tell, it actually is really sad. And if you watch the rest of that clip, Joe Biden keeps talking, and eventually Jimmy Kimmel is like, "Oh, yeah, we got to go to break now. We got to go to break." And the whole thing, I don't know what he's talking about, but you can kind of tell. Like, I don't know if you've ever had an elderly family member or someone that's sort of like declining a little bit mentally as you do when you get much older. It's almost as if Jimmy Kimmel is like, trying to like keep him on track and remind him where he's going. And it's just really, it's sad to me. And Jimmy Kimmel knows it. And everyone else knows it, but we're all just kind of like, yeah, everything's fine. It's all fine. And it actually it's sad. And this is our president. This is who Jimmy Kimmel told us to vote for. This is who every Hollywood celebrity told us to vote for. And now they're having to sort of like keep them on track and, no, Joe Biden, over here, stay on course. And apparently, this was a pre recorded. So it wasn't actually live, it was pre recorded and taped, or it was pre recorded and edited. And also keep in mind that when you're on these shows, I don't know if any of you have ever been an audience on a show like this or any sort of live taping. You when you're in the audience, they tell you when to laugh, they tell you when to clap. They have a sign up top that says applause, and then you have producers that are in the audience like pumping you up and telling you to laugh and telling you to be louder. So it's all sort of a fake thing anyway. Here's another short little clip.
The world. Here's where we are. We have the fastest growing economy in the world. The world. The world. Here's where we are.
No, we don't. We don't. We don't. Okay, and this part is super cringy. So you can almost tell this is something they sort of contrived together. They were like, okay, this is what we're going to say, and this is going to be the joke. Listen to this whole thing. This was totally choreographed ahead of time.
If they're not.
Look, the Republicans don't play it square. Why do you play square?
Yeah.
Well, guess what? If we do the same thing they do, our democracy will literally be in jeopardy.
Well, yeah.
Not a joke.
And I understand their argument, but also it's like you're playing Monopoly with somebody who, won't pass go and won't follow any of the rules. And how do you ever make any progress if they're not following the rules?
We got to send them to jail. There's that little box in there. Look, the Republicans don't play it.
So that was clearly something they thought up ahead of time, and it's so obvious. And again, what they do on these shows, and this isn't just this show in particular, it's every single show. Anytime you go to a live taping of anything, even a multicam sitcom, they tell you exactly when to laugh, and you have people in the audience pumping you up. So there's that. That basically sums up Joe Biden's appearance on Jimmy Kimmel last night.
Square, why do you play?
Oh, we were just talking about Nancy Pelosi. So this clip of her just came up. It says, Madam Pelosi is unconcerned with the threat on Brett Kavanaugh because she is only concerned about herself, her stock portfolio, her hair salon during COVID, her drunk driving husband. She will break every law and rule for her world, but not yours or anyone else. So Speaker Pelosi snaps at a reporter asking her about the threat on Justice Kavanaugh's life. Oh my gosh, sorry. That's
the justices are protected when there was an attempt on Justice Kavanaugh's life. You said the justices are protected, but there was an attempt on Justice Kavanaugh's life.
It's protected. The justices are protected. This issue is not about the justice. It's about staff and the rest. The justices are protected. You saw the Attorney General even double down on that.
But this is about security for the justices. An armed man showed up near Justice Kavanaugh's house to try to.
We're working together on the bill that the Senate will be able to approve of, because that's what we can pass. Whatever we want here, we want it to be able to pass the Senate. So I don't know what you're talking about, because evidently you haven't seen what the debate is, and not debate, but what the language is. There will be a bill, but nobody is in danger over the weekend because of our not having a bill.
And there you go. happens with that. She won her primary on Tuesday. So we'll see. Did Nancy just flip a bird? I don't know. I don't know if she just flipped a bird. There's a lady on YouTube named Rachel. She can impersonate Pelosi to a T. Oh, we'll have to find her. All right, everybody. That's all for right now. Thank you for joining. That was a fun stream. Rachel, I'll have to find her. All right, thank you very much. That was a fun stream. I'll see you all tomorrow. Have a good Thursday. Maybe I'll be back later tonight. I don't know. I'll let you know if I am. But have a really great day, you all. Okay, I'll see you later. Bye-bye. Bye, everybody.